punches. Offensive rebound, Sabally, and she's going to be tied up by Carter.
This is Chennedy Carter statistically. She's one of the better players in the WNBA. She scored 17.5 points per game last season, which put her in the top 15 in scoring among big names like Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu, and she did it playing fewer minutes. When you look at her performance on a points per minute played basis, she was second only to A'ja Wilson from a talent and skill perspective. She's one of the league's better players, and yet she is homeless. Well, not actually homeless. She just doesn't have a team. The Chicago Sky declined to qualify her, sending her off into the uncertainty that is free agency. When looking just at her stats, there shouldn't have been much uncertainty at all. She should have been among the first scooped up, but while stars, depth players, role players, and everyone in between landed in new destinations, Chennedy was left and signed. It reminds me of middle school, when captains would pick their teams one player at a time, and there'd always be that one kid left standing. In this case, that's Chennedy, which has some fans scratching their heads, but to others it's obvious. They're saying her WNBA career is over. But can that really be true? Has Chennedy been canceled? It feels crazy to consider, given that we're talking about a 26-year-old potential all-star who could make even a bad team competitive. And in sports, there's a rich history of teams taking on troublemakers that teammates ultimately embrace and become part of a winning formula when channeled correctly. Sometimes a little sandpaper can be a good thing, but when you look at her track record and the damage she's done in her young career, it's possible. Let's get into the events, including some recent fireworks that seem minor but reinforce a narrative at the wrong time that have put her WNBA career on life support. We could be looking at one of the biggest wastes of talent in WNBA history. But first, subscribe if you think Kennedy's career is cooked. Comment if you think a team will take a chance on her. Okay, so yes, it's well known that Chennedy is a mix of, how do I put it, sweet and sour. What's sweet is her production and potential. She's well known for her dynamic and impactful presence on the court. She combines agility, scoring prowess, and playmaking abilities, making her a formidable guard.
Bad pass.
Carter, the quick move.
Carter has continuously shown that she has a remarkable ability to score during her rookie WNBA season with the Atlanta Dream in 2020. She averaged 17.4 points per game, which ranked 8th in the league and led all rookies. Notably, on August 6, 2020, she became the youngest player in WNBA history to score 30 points in a game, scoring 35 points against the Seattle Storm. Her athleticism helps her defend multiple positions and disrupt opposing offenses. She has the swagger and the performance to be a perennial all-star, but oh yeah, her career has been tarnished by a string of setbacks pertaining to her behavior both on and off the court, in front of fans and behind locker room doors. According to sources, she wasn't getting along with her teammates or the coaching staff, so the Atlanta Dream suspended her indefinitely halfway through the 2021 season for what they described as conduct detrimental to the team. When Carter's teammate Courtney Williams requested her to support her teammates from the bench, a fight broke out, and Carter wanted to fight Williams after the game. This was obviously not an isolated incident, as the Dream finally had enough and sent Chennedy to the Los Angeles Sparks. Let's call this strike one. The Sparks had hoped that Chennedy would be a WNBA star, but as you can undoubtedly imagine, she didn't live up to expectations, posting the worst season in terms of statistics and being benched for bad behavior.
Why wasn't Chennedy Carter playing this game?
Coach's decision.
And finally waived after one season, which is strike two for those of you keeping track. After her Sparks exit, no team was interested in signing Carter, leaving her hanging in WNBA purgatory for a year. However, after a full season of timeout in the corner, she got another chance when the Chicago Sky signed her for the 2024 season, and for a while, it seemed like Chennedy Carter's comeback was on, as she displayed flashes of her former self, demonstrating that she could still pose a threat to opposing defenses when locked in.
This morning, this physical moment involving the WNBA's most high-profile rookie raising question.
This was arguably the most contentious moment of the WNBA season, and yes, I can see you supporting her. After spending a full year away from the league, she had a chance to reflect and change the perception of her. She gave clear evidence that the new Chennedy was the same as the old Chennedy, and the media piled on the criticism. Even non-WNBA fans took notice, as the video went viral on social media and sparked discussions about respect in the league, and worst of all, she refused to accept responsibility when asked about the incident. Carter doubled down, didn't apologize, and didn't even act like it was a big deal.
She turned to you a little bit after the FIBA score.
I didn't answer no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
She even appeared to be making fun of the situation online rather than accepting responsibility for it. Now, as the season came to a close, she had her finest statistical performance ever. This should have been obvious, but I have a strange hunch. Chennedy knew that might not be the case. Okay, I'm about to put on my tinfoil hat and get into conspiracy mode. So, she went to play in China for Wuhan, and she absolutely dominated. What was odd was her team giving her the Good Temper Award for her achievement in emotional management. Wow, what a complete 180 from her WNBA reputation. No reports of clashes with teammates or coaches, no viral moments of her getting in someone's face. Just basketball. Call me crazy, but does Good Temper Award not sound like an award they made up specifically for her? It smells an awful lot like a fake PR piece, kind of like those LinkedIn recommendations you ask your friends to write for you when it's time to look for a new job. Yeah, I'm guessing she felt the need to prove with something tangible that her on-court and locker room conduct had improved, and it didn't work. Between the Caitlin body check and the reports of locker room drama, it was no surprise, even with that amazing totally not made up award, when the Sky let her walk. And you know what that is? Strike 3. Now the Sky were super diplomatic, saying they had made roster adjustments that didn't suit Kennedy's style. They didn't throw her under the bus. But let's be real, who lets go of a top 15 scorer you could have signed at a huge bargain? Reports eventually came out that Chicago believed keeping her would hurt their chances of signing free agents. Then, in what was actually a pretty funny series of posts on X right after Chennedy was released, many thought she made a cryptic dig at Angel Reese by talking about the importance of consistently making easy layups. As we all know by now, layups are not Angel's forte, even though they help her rack up offensive rebounds. Now, she eventually came out and said that her post had nothing to do with Angel, and that Angel was a special player. I'm surprised her Chinese team didn't give her the Best Damage Control award for that one, even if she is to be taken at her word. That exchange with Angel was yet another reminder for teams of the locker room issues she could bring. But is the WNBA just being too soft? There are plenty of examples of players with abrasive personalities and questionable conduct starring on top teams. Take Dennis Rodman for an example.
Rodman says, good play, Rook. Good play, big fella. Did he get called for a team?
And you can see him with more antics. Antics is a great word to use.
He was a walking controversy in the NBA before he made peace with North Korean dictators. Teams were concerned about his personality, antics, and ability to fit in. He was a full-fledged spectacle. One day, he would be dominating the boards with unrivaled hustle. The next, he would be skipping practice to party with celebrities in Vegas. Despite this, he was a 5-time NBA champion, 2-time All-Star, 7-time rebounding champion, and 7-time All-Defensive First Team. His play on the court, Now
watch him grab Draymond right there. Now, that right there.
So that's it for Draymond Green. He's done.
Whether he punches his own teammates or engages in technical foul talk, the man is a suspension magnet. The Warriors continue to retain Draymond like Rodman despite his ongoing balancing act between liability and competition. The Warriors are better off with Draymond's defense leadership and high basketball IQ, so they tolerate his mayhem as long as he produces results. So, why is Chennedy Carter is unique? She has the potential to be a top-producing player with an advantage that, although occasionally excessive, may also help her team win. First, the WNBA is significantly smaller than the NBA. There are fewer roster spaces, less opportunities, and fewer clubs willing to take chances because the WNBA only has 13 teams compared to the NBA's 30. Teams will avoid you if you're known as a locker room distraction because they don't have the luxury of betting on a player who could destroy team harmony. If you burn bridges with 3 teams like Chennedy has, that's a fourth of the league's players who probably don't want to play with you. Second, it's difficult to remove the stigma of cancer in the locker room because some players are fierce on the court but excellent teammates off it. Rodman was respected by his teammates. For all of his turmoil, Draymond Warriors players have repeatedly endorsed Carter, but she has a reputation for being complicated behind the scenes. She was suspended in Atlanta for actions that were detrimental to the team, waived in Los Angeles after just one season, left unsigned in Chicago despite being one of their best players, and then suspected of feuding with former teammates on social media after being waived. That's a lot of baggage at the moment. Now, back to the big question. Is Chennedy Carter done in the WNBA? She's only 26 years old, entering her prime, and could be an all-star player for a team that takes a chance on her. She's continuing to train in the hopes that an opportunity will present itself, and as long as the talent is there, she has a chance. The WNBA is a talent-driven league, so if you can help a team win, teams will overlook almost everything they have with her thus far, even if it's in one-offs. If a team is in dire need of scoring, has injuries and needs help right away, or you're the Connecticut Sun who lost almost your entire team, it may be necessary for a team to look past her baggage and sign a player who can score points without making mistakes. There may not be room for Chennedy no matter how many Chinese best-tempered awards she receives, because her reputation becomes your identity and teams move on. She is a cat on her 9th life after 3 unsuccessful stints and a bad reputation. You have to believe that her next chance is her last because other young stars are emerging and a promising crop of young players will enter the WNBA over the next few years.
Leads back up to double figures. How about Carter? Leaving everyone in her dust.
Chennedy Carter's story serves as a warning about what happens when talent alone isn't enough. You could be one of the best players on the court, but if teams don't think they can trust you in the locker room, they'll look elsewhere. That's exactly what's happening with Chennedy Carter, a first-round draft pick who scored 17 points per game as a rookie, something even stars struggle to do, and now she's in limbo, wondering if she's officially been cut, and, barring a desperate move by a desperate team, she has probably been cut. What do you think is the end of Chennedy Carter's WNBA career, or will she get one last chance? I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Please share your opinions in the comments section and include a basketball emoji.